This week we talked with Dick Cavett, and I thought you might like to hear where Dick is at.
It's always been a burden, but then again, it's always there's always a bit of excitement every so often. It hasn't changed radically that way. I'm less nervous than I used to be. That's the most noticeable change. And there's some nights when, I suppose like everyone else, I really look forward to my job, and other nights when I would trade it with anybody who'd take it in exchange for an old pair of shoes.
What are the variables that constitute the differences in opinion? What elements have to be there to really excite you about it?
I don't know. Usually, of course, it has to do with who's on.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's something that I can look forward to if I have a reasonable reason of thinking that they're going to be really worth talking to, or exciting in some way, or maybe controversial in a way that'll be interesting to have happen, or terribly funny, or whatever.
Who was the most exciting guest you ever interviewed?
I don't have any one person that I could single out for that, because there've been a lot of people that have been good, and you know when it's happening, and you know when it's not happening. I mean, it would be silly to think of. There's no one person who towers above everybody else.
Could you think of like 4 or 5 that really you thought were the most exciting folks you met?
Well, if I knew what exciting meant, I probably could. I mean, because it's comparing apples and oranges. Colonel Herbert compared to an evening with Groucho, or Orson Welles compared to an evening with 5 school kids. There's just no way of really making a... If I did the same thing every night, if it were, say, all men in politics, or all comedians, or all movie actors, or something, then it'd be easy, but it's too hard this way. Just, the graph goes up and down. I go up and down with it.
What was the most important thing you learned from your association with Jack Parr?
Again, I don't think I have a single answer to that. Maybe if I had to come up with one fast, it would be that the best thing is to trust your instincts, as he always did.
Right.
There, you squeezed an answer out of me.
That's one.
Yeah.
What's the thing that is there any one thing or any sequence of things that you've ever regretted saying on television, if there was anything that could be erased from the permanent videotape in the sky?
There have been some, and my memory has blessedly erased them all. I mean, there's no glaring instance where I've suddenly thought, oh my God, I've caused tremendous pain to somebody or some group of people. There have been times where I just wish I had said something different, or I think it's something that I should have said funnier, or should have said another way, but I'm still waiting to make that gigantic blunder that will resonate around the country.
I saw you last night.
Probably make it tonight.
I saw you last night with Catherine Coleman. It was really a fascinating sequence that you did with her. Do you consider yourself a religious person in any sense of the word?
Probably in some sense of the word that I don't know how to explain. I haven't had any significant, particular religious experiences. I've had religious feelings at times, but they're usually inspired by music or great acting or something like that. They haven't had much to do with organized religion. I used to go to Sunday school as a kid and wonder what it was all about.
Could you elaborate on that just a bit, Dick? What you mean by a religious experience, watching an actor or something?
Oh, a sort of deep emotional experience of being in touch with some great transcendent thing. It can happen watching Gielgud and Richardson, or Brando, or whoever, I don't know, or rich musical experiences. I'm not very musical, but every so often I've been taken to a concert and had what felt like a kind of religious experience, but I have never had one in the orthodox religious sense. Oh, you know, at a funeral you can be moved by the music, or from Louis Armstrong's funeral, I remember when Al Hibbler sang The Saints Go Marching In. It was really a soulful experience.
Would you mind if we tried a brief word association experiment?
All right. With brief words?
Brief words, yes.
Okay.
Brief, instantaneous, immediate response is the first thing that comes into your head.
As if you were my psychoanalyst.
As if. Okay. Television.
Television. Out of order.
Nebraska.
Planes.
New York.
Dirty.
God.
Maybe.
Yale.
White shoes.
Norman Mailer.
A little loaded.
Fear.
Huh?
Fear.
Fear?
Yes.
I got nothing on that.
Okay,
Fear.
I have 5 more.
Oh.
Woman.
Pale.
Mother.
Mother. I thought of Nebraska. Sorry.
No,
I wasn't instant on that.
Money.
Disinterest.
Youth.
Age.
And forever.
Amber.
Sometimes, note the transition, sometimes I've noticed on television, you seem to make an effort to play down the more intellectual aspect of your personality. Is that conscious on your part, or are you just bored with intellectuals?
I can only answer that in a specific instance, because that thing you're talking about moves around. Since I'm not an intellectual, I'm in awe of people who really are, and impatient with people who try to sound like they are, and bored with people who really try to sound like they are.
You don't consider yourself an intellectual?
No, I mean that could be easily proved.
Besides...
Why did you ask me about Norman Mailer?
I don't know. I think of all the programs that I've watched, the program with the last one between Norman Mailer and Gore Vidal seemed to have evoked a quality in you, a video media quality that I don't think any other guests seem to have evoked in you that came across the television, from my point of view, anyway.
I wonder what it was. I feel bad about saying a little loaded. I know why I said it, because I was talking with Woody Allen earlier today, and someone came up and said, was Mailer a little loaded that night? And I said, I think it was, because he said he was. I consider him so, such a giant talent that it's sort of silly to simply slough him off that way. I wouldn't really do that. Guess I'll never play word association.
We interviewed him 2 weeks ago here, and I trust you wouldn't be offended by that association.
I don't think you would. I like him.
Besides Howard Hughes and Jacqueline Kennedy, who would you like to interview that you haven't gotten to yet?
Why do you assume I'd like to interview them?
It's just a natural assumption that's...
Oh, yes. Well, yeah, you're right, I would, but
Sure.
I just wondered if I had said those somewhere or something.
No, I just...
Oh, yeah.
Who beside them would you like to...
Who that I haven't?
Yes.
I'd love to have Brando. I'd love to have Mike Nichols. I'd love to have, who else? Distancy than the pollution I'm used to. And, something very, very foreign to my nature about, being immersed in show business. I find that I like show business and I'm in it, but I find that if I hear people talking about almost nothing but that around me. I don't know. I think there's some actual biological thing that happens since I'd only be out here for a couple of weeks at a time. I never quite feel like I'm myself.
We only have another 3 or 4 minutes, and I have just 2 final questions. Jerry Rubin once asked you on your program if you ever smoke dope, and I think your response was, I do, but I never inhale.
Yeah, that was funny.
I like that a lot. Let me ask you the question in a slightly different way. Has there ever been a period of time in your life that you've experimented with psychedelics or drugs of any kind?
No, I would take everything I could if I thought that it were harmless. Just for the experience. I don't mean I'd live on it. I mean I'd try it. But I have a kind of, I don't know, Joan Baez said she inherited a Puritan streak from her father or something about that. I sort of sympathize with that. I don't really have any interest in drugs as a way of life, but I have a curiosity about them. But as yet, I haven't really had what I thought was the right situation or opportunity or thing that I wouldn't be worried about the consequences of taking hallucinogens or any of those things. I won't feel bad if I never do.